Welcome back to the Professional Lovers channel. I'm Al.
And I'm Patty.
And we are
the Professional Lovers. Talking at you for another episode of Married at First Sight. And for all our new subscribers, welcome. We're glad to have you. And you know about us. And you know why we do what we do.
But tell others so they can know about us too.
Exactly. Like, share, subscribe,
Comment.
Keep watching, comment, and keep watching because there's a lot to talk about as we get closer and closer to
Decision Day.
Yes, we are at the halfway mark officially. 4 weeks in, a month.
Mm-hmm.
So on tonight's episode, they celebrated their 1 month anniversary.
Most of them.
And talked to friends and others about how the marriages were going. And ended with a group dinner that took a left turn.
Yeah.
But let's start with each couple. And that the first couple would be Kristen and Mitch.
Okay.
So, Kristen talked with a friend and, said that she feels like the marriage is great, that it's going in a positive direction, but she personally felt a little conflicted because she doesn't feel like Mitch is really supporting her as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing good as a couple, but as an individual, she felt like his talking about, flipping as a negativity was not really supporting her dream. But when her friend, asked her about, her conflict, she was like, well, I'm just going to still be the best wife I can be. She's been all in.
She is all in.
And very affirming to him through all of his evolving.
Mm-hmm. Which, for anybody, ultimately will become taxing. And later on in the episode, she expressed exactly how taxing it is.
Yeah. And, we'll get to the group dinner as we get toward the end of the recap. But they celebrated their month anniversary by going on a yoga retreat, which she, I think, put together.
Yeah, she orchestrated it.
Right. But he seemed to get a lot out of it.
Yeah, he did. Something came out of him. More so noises than anything.
Yeah.
But, it was a situation she was amused by how evidently pent up stress or something was in him was finally being released.
I was amused that she was amused because she's used to her dog making all kinds of noises. Yeah. So I'm like...
Well, she even commented, didn't I? She's got a dog that makes noise and a husband that evidently can make noise too.
I understand that. I got one too.
Excuse me?
Well, you do some grunts and sighs and things like that. So anyway, but because they were celebrating their month anniversary, all the couples got a basket of their wedding photo album and their vows.
Yeah.
And so it was nice to hear them read their vows back to each other. And Mitch was like, he affirmed Kristen in that she is living her vows.
Yeah.
The way.
And he's even recognizing where he has fallen short.
Right. And that he could do better.
Yeah.
Now, I have to say that he is self-aware. He knows how interesting his little idios can be.
Yeah.
And how self-righteous he can come across. Okay.
Well, if he didn't, he knows now.
Yeah. And And so, they seem to be they're having their ups and downs, but they're not, we didn't find out exactly what those were until the end.
Yeah.
But they're constantly working at it, and I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Then we move to Morgan and Ben, who did not celebrate their month anniversary because at the end of last week's episode, Morgan
found out that Ben was still talking to Justin
because Alexis told her.
Yeah. I mean, when Ben is talking to him on the phone, he's on speakerphone. Alexis can overhear it. Now, whether she's hearing the whole conversation, she understands the context, we don't know. But from what she did hear, she did confront Morgan with certain issues. We don't even know exactly what they were, to what extent they were, because there was no explanation on anybody's part. When Morgan confronted Ben about it, she just went full blast on him about, you hurt me again, your trust is gone, you did exactly what I told you not to do, and
you're lying.
And you're lying to my face.
And you're lying.
Yeah.
Now, let's just start with, she said, I'm giving you this one opportunity to explain yourself, but he never got to explain anything.
Because he couldn't. Because
she met him at the anniversary spot.
The wedding spot.
Where they were celebrating their anniversary, to just express herself.
Yeah.
She wasn't interested in anything he had to say because she already says that he's lying. And she just had everything that she was going to say and just leave it at that. So, first of all, let's go to how deeply should you involve
others,
friends and family and others in the issues that you have in your marriage. Now, let's realize that this is a different scenario.
True.
Because these were strangers.
True. Which means this cohort of people are the only ones who understand exactly what it is you're going through or what you have done to this point in saying I do to a stranger. So they're the only ones who can relate to maybe what you're feeling or not feeling.
Because everybody's going through the same issue of building a relationship, but you may be in varying degrees of issues based on your strengths and your weaknesses and your experience or lack thereof, or your maturity level, or whatever the case may be.
And who better to speak to than someone who is actually going through the same thing you're going through? So
the one thing that I can fault Ben for is agreeing to not speak to any of the couples about their issues. Because although we think that's unrealistic, because they're the only ones who understand what you're going through, for him to agree to not do that because she asked him not to, and then to do it anyway, is not a way to build trust.
True.
It is a way of lying to her, because you are going to Justin and speaking to him about issues. But he's doing that because he trusts him,
right,
and they have a friendship.
Right.
But that was wrong. He should never have agreed to not do it and then to do it anyway.
I think that would be unreasonable even to agree. That was unreasonable on his part because you need somebody to understand what it is you're going through. Everybody needs a sounding board. Exactly.
Everybody needs to vent about issues at some point.
Because, well, as we indicated, not to harp on it, but we're not seeing a lot of the experts in these situations where, they're intense and they need some guidance,
And we don't know if they're getting the guidance off camera or not, but they're not showing themselves a lot in the episodes.
Yeah.
So that was Ben's mistake in agreeing to that. unrealistic though that was. But, I don't know if he has other people to talk to. I think he does have friends or whatever, but
they can't relate.
Again, right. They can't relate to what he's experiencing because they're not in the same situation.
Exactly.
Now, but then how much you divulge is also
true.
A point that, often when we are venting to someone else about our marriages or about our issues, we're talking a lot of times about the other person.
True.
You're not really talking that much about yourself. It's what that person is doing or not doing, what they're making you feel or not feel, how they need to change or how they need to. And whenever you're getting information through a third party, you're going to miss the whole context because you're hearing it from somebody else who's also telling it to you through their own lens.
True. And they evidently have a skewed lens at that moment because of whatever it is that's going on, causing them to vent about whatever it is they're going through.
And so in the after party, Alexis did say that she was wrong.
Yeah.
In how she shared information with Morgan, because whatever she said and however she said it, Morgan completely shut down
instantaneously.
And although, and she made it seem like, when he said, so is this it? She's like, no, I want you to see me every day and to know that you hurt me. So it's almost like, I'm going to stay with you for the next 4 weeks to punish you.
Just to punish you.
For hurting me. Which is childish.
Very.
Letting the roses fall to the ground was childish, but it was a reaction to her hurt. Okay. And then, like we said, she gave him no opportunity to talk. Now, I appreciated the fact that he went after her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because listen, when you're talking about somebody who's a people pleaser, they're scared that whatever they do or whatever they say is not going to be the right thing. And he said, I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do in this instance.
But he didn't walk away. Because she gave him no opportunity.
None. So it was sad that they couldn't really celebrate their month anniversary. Yeah. Neither of them stayed at the apartment because he was too shocked and saddened by what happened. And then they did not go out with the other couples. Yeah. So they're in a really bad place at the moment.
True.
Alexa and Justin also kind of going up and down.
Yeah.
She got together with a friend. He got together with his brother, and chatted. Justin feels like Alexis just doesn't get it. They don't communicate on the same wavelength. And part of that is because Justin is so concerned about his feelings and what she might be feeling and what she is feeling and he gets stuck in that.
He's overthinking. He gets in his own way. He's overthinking about situations that it's not even about control, but he's trying to control a scenario that is organic and just allow it to grow to be whatever it's going to be. You can't orchestrate a relationship to be all pleasantries. And I think he would be very happy if that could happen.
Well, he's to me, he's trying to be perfect for her, and he's not perfect.
No, nobody is.
And the more that he messes up, the worse he feels, and the more he's scared that he's going to run her away because in his mind she's a runner, right?
Well, she's a self-proclaimed runner.
But she's not running.
Right. And
she's a runner, but she's not running.
True.
But he's going to make her run because he's so scared that anything he says that he says and does she doesn't like, she's going to run. And so he's getting stuck in this, as she said, this negativity. Because when they were doing their scrapbooking, and he was like, I just feel like I've effed up so many times that 4 weeks is not enough time to
rectify whatever
exactly
he
and to
screwed up.
rebuild. And she's like, why are you looking at that?
Yeah.
Why can't you look at, the positives? And that's part of her complaint of her having to regulate him and her.
Yeah.
I got to be so concerned about your feelings that I can't even express myself because I've got to be worried about your feelings. And so and he's worried about her feelings and how he feels and how she feels about how he feels.
And you don't really have to worry about it.
Oh my
she's
goodness!
Gonna let you know exactly how she feels.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And he is getting in his head, which he admitted.
Yeah.
And he said once he's in his head, then he shuts down, which we see a lot of him shutting down.
Yeah, there's not a lot of space for anybody else in his head.
Yeah.
Because he's busy in his head.
Yeah. So, and of course, like I said, we'll talk about them more when we get to the whole group dinner. Stasha and Nate. So Stasha met with her mother. And Mama told her to give him his space and have some patience. They have, as we said, we talk about love styles. Everybody has a love style. And up until this time, Nate has not been meeting her love style. They could really benefit in discovering what each other's love style is.
I think if they did that, they would hands down just call it quits right now and just live the rest of their life together. They're fine. I believe that they are fine. I really do.
Yeah. So they went to the lawyer to do the post-nup, which he said, hey,
this is my action.
Yes, I'm doing this because this is what she wants. And I want her to see that I'm committed to her.
And agree to exactly what the agreement was, And she came up with an abstract scenario. Well, if someone put in 90% and the other put in 10%
into a joint account,
then that's
and we separated. Then how do you?
Well, according to how we put in is what we get out.
Yeah.
So he was all on board.
Yeah, but they're keeping separate accounts for now. And her mom asked her, why do you have such a hard time trusting?
Yeah.
And she said
she's been hurt in the past.
Well, everybody that she's trusted has let her down.
Yeah, everybody. Not every relationship, but everybody. And Mom indicated that she was part of that scenario.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But again, encouraged her to look at his actions and to give him the space and time that he needs to,
express himself the way
she needed to hear.
Right.
Which he did. After the whole lawyer visit and they went to celebrate their month anniversary together, he basically shared that, when she asked him, did you think that we would be where we are in 30 days? And he said, honestly, no. Because in the times that he was having the doubts, because he was getting frustrated with her demanding that he express himself her way.
He was having trust issues.
Right. And felt like, that his actions didn't mean anything to her.
Yeah.
That she trivialized them.
That she was being an a-hole.
And she was like, did you just
call your wife an a-hole? He said, yeah.
And, I have a little about that. I don't think you need to call people out their names when you feel in some kind of way.
If anything,
but that's just me.
You don't call a person that because the person is not that.
Their behavior, right. They may be acting like but,
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, he, ended that up by saying that he was falling in love with her.
Yeah.
And that she has now moved from a 4 to a 7/8.
Yeah. So she was like, was that a high five that you wanted?
No. Oh. But I can. Good for him.
Yes.
And she immediately got giddy.
Totally.
But
eyes got big without waterworks.
Which meant that she was feeling the way she wanted to feel.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, now the cute thing, she dog sat for Kristen's dog when Kristen and Mitch went out of town.
Yeah,
and it tickled me because, she's really into wanting to have babies. And she was
tripping
about the dog's schedule and how she had to clean his wrinkles and
clean up his poop
and clean his poop,
gloves specifically.
And I'm like, girl, if you having trouble doing that with a dog, what you gonna do when the baby comes? Because you're gonna have to do all those things, get in all the creases and crevices and clean the poop and the throw up that lands on you and those beautiful clothes you be wearing. And, I'm like, and a schedule. Okay? I mean, let me tell you, if you don't have kids and you're thinking about it, the best way to start getting prepped for it is to have a pet.
True.
Have a dog.
True. Yeah.
So you can understand what it's going to feel like. But she must have gotten through it because...
or Luna maybe not, because they didn't say no more about it.
But Luna was still living by the time Kristen and Mitch got back. She wasn't put on the street somewhere.
That was funny.
Oh, me. Lindy and Miguel, okay, they're in a great place right now. Miguel is in a great place right now. He feels like they both feel very comfortable with each other. And he's really shocked that he feels that way with her, having been a stranger when they got married. So he has surprised himself and feels good about the fact that,
they are where they are.
They are where they are. They went out on a sailboat, which awesome was nice.
Trip, though. I like that.
Yeah.
Sailing
and,
cool.
They read their vows and they both feel like they've living up to their vows. Well, she feels like he's been living up to his vows. And, but when they were looking at their pictures, he thought she was being very negative and ultra critical about the day.
But it was the first time, and she's picking out the awkwardness with trying to go over. And
because she was feeling awkward.
Everybody was feeling awkward.
I
think that's just a word. I mean, not to say that it wasn't true, but I'm thinking that everybody was feeling a certain kind of way. This is abstract. This is the craziest thing that anybody...
Well, definitely at the very beginning.
Right.
But he was like, but it wasn't, he didn't feel like several things that she felt were awkward.
No, I mean, he didn't feel it was to an extreme that as she was discussing it, or indicating or referencing how awkward it was. He was enjoying his day.
The cute thing though is when he said he feels like he's seen her at her worst, and she was like, no, you have not. He was like, okay, that's scary.
But, and I guess can we go to the dinner?
Yeah.
I mean, because
go on to the dinner.
With them regarding that specific thing about being at her worst, or him seeing her at her worst, she indicated that she has been that girl, who has flown off the handle and,
said whatever she wanted to say.
Whatever she wanted to say.
Done whatever she wanted to do, and the guys took it.
And just deal with it.
Right.
She doesn't feel that, well, she's governing herself to ensure that she doesn't get to that point where she feels that she has to go off. And, evidently he's not making her feel insecure about anything to warrant that behavior from her.
But I also sense that he's calling her on the carpet when she does kind of go off.
Every time that she even mentions the going off part, it was like, I don't know if I can handle that. I mean, that's not, it's not what he chooses to deal with, because it sounds like, because when she says it, it almost sounds like it's contrived to a certain degree.
Well, it's a temper tantrum to get what she wants.
Right. Whereas, he feels we're grown, we can discuss this situation and we can get past it, get through it, move on, and, be positive and move forward with it. So,
and that's, again, she's expressing a certain self-awareness that I don't want to treat him the way I have treated the others.
Right.
And that's
a positive.
Keeping them where they are.
Yeah.
So, kudos for them. Stasha and Nate, he expressed his love for her to everybody at the table.
Publicly.
And, and they got tattoos.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes things concrete if you
official.
Tattoo your wedding date on your hand.
And that's what it was. The date in Roman numerals, wasn't no names or anything like that. So it's something, and actually I thought that was kind of cute. A day to remember.
Yeah, but when you tattoo it, it's permanent.
Yeah.
To a certain degree.
Well,
and he was like, this is showing you that I'm committed. I'm in this. Said, so
yes, it is.
They set a lovey-dovey tone, and Kristen and Alexis, on the other hand, when Mitch talked about where he saw them at their marriage right now, he talked about himself.
Yeah.
It's been demanding.
Yeah.
It's been difficult. It's been a process of self-discovery. Mm-hmm. I wasn't sure going into this if I was real husband material.
Yeah. I.
And
Kristen decided to respond to that in a fashion that at first I thought it was really going to go left. I mean, totally left. Because she started talking about, that she's been putting so much effort into this thing that she's almost feeling like she's losing herself.
Right. Because she's compromising.
In a lot of ways.
To save him.
Even to the point where she's not even remarking on how he made her feel in expressing her aspirations and desires, her future, what she wants to do, and the way he kind of poo-pooed on that. First, he was aloof with it, and then to feel like it was a demon effort to be flipping houses, just for the rich and so on and so forth, which is not necessarily the case. It was just...
it sounded like she wasn't getting any recognition. She felt like, I have not been getting any recognition for what I've been doing to make you feel comfortable.
And she hasn't.
And she is always affirming him.
Always.
Absolutely. I mean, even then, you are an incredible guy,
but,
and you have been working hard.
Yeah.
But so have I.
Big time.
And I'm not getting any recognition for what I've been putting into this marriage. And the marriage is a marriage because of what I've been putting into it.
True. And this is another situation in which I think the understanding of love styles would make a huge difference in their relationship.
Now, kudos to Mitch for not taking it personally.
Yeah.
Because he was like, you know what? If you're not being you, you need to be you.
Yeah.
And don't worry about how that's going to make me feel.
Don't walk on eggshells for me.
Say what you need to say. Because he does that.
Yeah, he does.
And that's something I can appreciate, because there are a lot of times when people will say and do things to others but can't take it in return.
To them. True.
And he's like,
Nope.
Be you. Express yourself. And, say what you need to say. And I got your back. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that.
That was probably the best affirmation I had heard him say toward Kristen, period.
And, and he doubled down on that in the after party.
Yeah.
Because when they asked him, how will you think, what did you feel when she was saying all of that? Because it seemed to kind of come out of nowhere.
No, it did.
Because all this time she was saying how great the marriage is and whatever, but then it was like, okay, here's the real deal.
Yeah, I'm about done. Because I could snap.
But he's like, no, I've heard some of those things a little bit before, and he knows where he has been falling down and could do better.
Yeah.
The question is, will he?
True.
It's one thing to be aware that you can, but the other thing is,
will
you begin to change?
Right, to put a conscious effort into changing the behavior.
Right. So, but then Justin says, dude, I can see the change in you. I can see how you progress. And Alexis is looking at him like, bro, but what you doing?
Yeah.
How come we keep having these same discussions and arguments over and over and over again? You don't seem to be progressing now.
That's what her look said, and it's what went through her mind.
Said. And when they asked, for her to speak, she was like, you know what?
I think I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna
Justin should have left it
right there.
Alone.
Could have left it right there. Because evidently she was not feeling comfortable in expressing what was rolling in her mind at that moment.
But she said, I want to respect my husband.
Yeah.
So I'm choosing not to say anything. That's what she said to the camera.
Yeah.
Not to the group. That was her reasoning. And I can get with that because respect is one of the number one things that men need.
True.
And instead of talking about him to everybody at that moment, she wanted to stay quiet.
True.
But he wouldn't leave it alone because he's so concerned about her feelings and making sure that her feelings are his feelings and his feelings are her feelings. And he kept pressing it.
And he should have understood that.
Yeah.
He if anything, you've been with a person for a month, day in and day out. And you know how expressive your wife can be. And good, bad, or indifferent.
And when she says, I need a break.
Yeah. Give her break.
Give her the break. I don't want to talk about it right now. Let her not talk about it.
If anything, you have a private discussion. Well, hey, baby, why didn't you want to, discuss it at the table? Well, because... And that would be a me and you conversation.
Right.
Wouldn't be a public thing.
But he kept, but I was just going to make sure that I'm thinking that it's good. And I'm going to make sure we're on the same page.
Well, we're not.
Don't press it right then. But he pressed it. And she gave it to him.
Yeah.
And then he shut down. And she walked away. And he walked away. And they spent the ride back to the apartment.
At opposite ends of the
bus.
It's a big bus, too.
He should have left it alone.
Yeah.
And dealt with it.
If he had something to say, he could have said it.
Right. And the thing is, if she says, I don't want to speak, and you have things you want to talk about with the marriage, then talk about what you want to talk about.
Maybe that could have put her in a different mode. And, be able to not think the way she was thinking and express it in a different fashion. Possibly. But you wanted to press that button. So you...
Yeah. And I can understand then from that standpoint of her talking about how she has to regulate him in her.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know when to quit. And you don't have to know everyone's feelings. Mm-hmm. Or feel for them or with them.
Or that they have to...
Or express it every minute of the day.
Yeah. It's not necessary.
Yeah. And he just doesn't know when to shut it off. But he's going to learn if he wants this marriage to work. So anyway, that's our recap. Who's your couple of the week?
I'm gonna go with Stacia and Nate.
Okay.
Yeah, they made a major connection.
Right.
And evidently within this week or so, Stacia gave him his space, gave him an opportunity. They did a couple of things, and those events had a particular impact on Nate in his effort of showing her that he was there, that he was involved, that he was in for the long haul, and I know she appreciated the actions, but he specifically brought it to the attention that my actions are indicating to you where I'm at, And, sometimes some of the things that you mentioned or how they discussed something didn't, didn't settle with him well during the discussion. And he expressed that. And she was kind of caught off guard with that one, but it was his reality. So she had to, I think, also understand. And plus, with her discussion with mom, she had to back up a touch just to give him his time, give him his space. And in that space, he grew to where she was happy.
Cool. My couple of the week, Lynn Gale.
Yeah.
Because, again, they're at a great spot. Red flag couple.
Morgan
and Ben.
Morgan.
But she more than...
Yeah. And I'm not putting it all on her. But there's like no compromise. There's no...
It's all or nothing. Yeah. Cut, dry, black, white.
Yeah.
Done.
And I don't know if that's fear.
Part of it is fear.
Probably, but you didn't get in this for it to be perfect. I mean,
well, it's never going to be perfect.
Exactly.
It's never going to be perfect. And you've got two people pleasers. One who claims that she's over that, and the other one who is still trapped into that. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. This week's recap. So, look forward to seeing you next week. Until then, you know what we're saying this time: to love yourselves
and each other.
Bye.
Peace.